If you'll indulge me for just one moment, I want to pay tribute to my father-in-law, Leo, who passed away during the editing of this video. Jillian is down in Florida where she's been by his side through this difficult process. In his older years, Leo spent a lot of time watching TV and watching YouTube. So you can imagine his delight when we launched this channel and he got to watch his daughter on TV and watch his new son-in-law hack away at an old sailboat project. He was always one of the first or second people to watch. He just always seemed to be awake, and when I would post a video in the middle of the night, he'd always be, viewer 1 or 2, because he'd let us know. He always had notes or suggestions on how I could do things better. Launching this channel was totally worth it, if for no other reason. I got a chance to get closer to my father-in-law. It gave us something to talk about. It gave Leo something to throw himself into. He would research Google articles on other sailboat refits, on other Choi Lee issues, on San Pedro and our marina. He had a voracious curiosity, and I will always be grateful for the 7 months or so that we got to share this channel with him. Leo, we love you, we'll miss you, and we know you'll be watching over us and doing everything you can to keep wind in our sails. Till we meet again. I made cabinets. Welcome to another episode of Offshore Spree. A big welcome to all the new subscribers who've joined the channel in the past couple of weeks. It's super awesome to see you here. If you don't know, we're Matt and Jillian, and this is Lee Hawk, our first sailboat. We bought this 1970 Choi Lee sloop on the cheap, and it's become our labor of love project boat. We're learning how to sail, how to repair things, how to restore things, and generally learning how to be good sailboat owners. We're big believers that the journey is the reward, so we're excited you're here to see how we're getting on. And by all means, leave a comment or question below. You know what to do. We'd love to hear from you. As we moved on to our new old boat, it was pretty much a mess. And the sea berth right here just became a catch-all for everything. Just a total mess. After we had that bad hatch leak over the winter, we had a bunch of water leak in, and there was a little pinhole leak too in the tow rail. And the cushion that was at the bottom of this sea berth just got totally filled with water and mold. It started to smell bad. It was awful. So we took that cushion out, and once I could see this space and I realized kind of how much volume was actually here, once I saw all the open space, I knew immediately that I wanted to build some cabinets where I could more officially or more properly stow all my tools while we were underway so they couldn't bang around and potentially roll out onto the floor. I still wanted the ability to be able to lay things across all the cabinets without them rolling off onto the ground. So I had that as a requirement. I wanted tops that would open and close so that it could be tidy when they were all closed. And I wanted it to be wood so that it would kind of match the aesthetic of the boat. So I got started with a quick sand to the old flaking paint. I figured that's always a good place to get started because I knew I wanted to give it just a quick fresh coat of paint to tidy up the space. All right, first we're gonna wipe it down with some paint thinner, see if we can clean up the surface before we try painting it. We're gonna give some of this easy epoxy semi-gloss white paint. It's a modern polyurethane paint, so we're gonna give this a try and see how it goes on. The fumes were pretty intense, and in retrospect, I probably should have worn a respirator here too. I'm not a fan of painting, so let's just say that my mantra, never let perfection get in the way of good enough, was followed to a T. All right, so a couple of thoughts from a first-time user of this kind of paint. If there's anybody out there who hasn't used this before, this is for you. It's really thin. It goes on really thin, but has surprisingly wide coverage. Pretty impressive in that regard. It smells a lot, so make sure you ventilate the boat. I feel a little happy right now. Looks pretty good. Video is more forgiving than the naked eye, but yeah, I'm gonna let it dry and see how it looks tomorrow. And then maybe we can get in some some compartments. So you put one in there, and then put one in there, and then put one in there. I don't know. Should be good, I think. If you've watched my channel before, you know how much I love ipe wood. It's a Brazilian hardwood. It's similar to teak in its characteristics in that it's really hard, and it already has like a lot of oils in the wood, so it's, you know, it naturally lends itself to marine applications. This is just a simple polyurethane varnish because this is going to be inside. I just wanted to give it a little bit of protection from any moisture in the cabin inside the boat, or if I have another leak, then, you know, I want a little bit of protection on the wood. This is interesting because it goes on white, but it dries the right color. So the general idea here is I want to frame out 4 boxes that will sit inside the sea berth. And then each of these boxes will get its own lid, which can lift independently of the others. And then I can use each of these boxes to store different types of tools or hardware, etc. Just trying to figure out the placement of this stuff. If I want a bunch of narrow ones, or if I want like a couple of wide ones. Now, I'd point out that this channel is not called Carpentry Esprit, and a carpenter I am not, but I like working with wood, and especially for applications like this where it's mostly utilitarian. It's certainly not for show. I want it to look as nice as I can make it, but that's not the goal here. I got some of these stainless steel L braces or L brackets to reinforce the dividers of the cabinets. And this feels really secure as I'm putting it in, so I feel pretty good about this. Once I get all the dividers in place where I think they're gonna go, then I wanna do kind of a dry fit here and get it in place inside the sea berth. There we go. This edge right here is just a little too long, so I need to take off just a little bit of that right there. So I'm gonna take that off with the jigsaw real quick. Measure 3 times and still cut twice. Yeah, I make mistakes like this all the time. Again, not a carpenter. Now we got all of these in. Just got to get that back piece across the back, and we have some containers. Ooh, look at that. That looks nice. That looks good, man. I'm gonna bring that one on the inside so that way we don't risk putting too much pressure up here in this corner and rubbing that down, which you can already see I've already damaged it. Yay. Awesome. What a day. 1, 2, 3, 4 compartments. So I'm pretty excited with the color, the wood match between this and the panels, the ipe with the polyurethane varnish on it. They look really nice. The next step is to build tops, so then I can come over here and lift up and, you know, put stuff underneath, put down, so then we can put other things on top. And there's just enough of a ledge here too that things won't be able to slide off. I got Jillian to help me rip down some of this ipe wood into some really thin strips that I could use on this next phase of building the lids for my cabinets. This is basically the same technique that I used to build the hatch doors into the companionway of my boat. I was really happy with how it turned out on those hatch doors, so I thought I would just use the same technique here.
Basically what I do is I measured out the width of each of the openings of the compartments, and now I'm gluing together some panels that are the exact width of each opening. I use wood glue to hold them all together, and then I use these thin strips of ipe wood to act as braces or reinforcements on the backside of each lid. This wood is really, really stiff and hard, so you can't just screw directly into the wood. You have to pre-drill all the holes for each screw. And I still make mistakes, and I'll still crack some of these little thin strips here and there. If you pre-drill, then you don't have any problems. When I squeeze these planks together, the wood glue kind of pops up in these beveled edges between the planks. And so I came up with a technique where I just fill all those bevels with wood glue, just fill it right up, and then once it dries, then I sand it all away, and it creates kind of a nice uniform edge. Probably not something other carpenters would do, but it works for me. Once I got the lids all sorted and squared away, I used the same polyurethane varnish to seal them up, and that didn't take too long to do. It dries pretty fast, and before you knew it, I was able to get back to the boat and get these things fitted on the cabinets. It's a little tight quarters trying to move this cabinet in and out of the sea berth. Anybody who's ever owned a boat will know how hard it is to work inside of a boat. But I was able to get situated and start trying to dry fit these lids. And right out of the gate, I found a mistake that I made.
Oh, I'm a moron. I don't know what I was thinking. But this should have been cut off here to leave room for it to be flush here, because right now you see that it can't because it gets caught on that. So that's a big problem. So I gotta figure out how to get off or chisel off just a bit of these. Ugh, stupid. Stupid.
After a little bit of thinking, I realized that I could use my multi-tool because the blade of the multi-tool was basically just wider than each of these strips. So it was really easy to just, saw, I guess, to multi-tool down or to saw down and to get each one of these little wooden nubs off of the lid.
Okay, that was a lot easier to fix than I thought, so sweet.
It was time to attach the lids to the cabinet. So I just used some brass hinges. I pre-drilled all of the screw holes to make sure that I didn't split the wood. Yeah, attached them all pretty quick. That part wasn't hard at all.
Oh, like butter. That's nice. And then when I put the piston from here to here, then it won't slam and it's gonna work nicely.
The last little secret ingredient that I wanted to put into these cabinet lids was a pneumatic arm or a pneumatic piston. So I'd bought some off of Amazon. They were pretty affordable, and I wanted to put one on each lid to see if that would do the trick. So Jillian kept me company while I got these things screwed in. So we got that first one in, and then Jillian helped me muscle this thing back into the sea berth. It's a lot heavier with all this wood on top. For a second there, I didn't think we were gonna be able to get it in, but thanks to my lovely wife, she was more patient than I and thought it through and helped me figure out how to get this thing settled back into the sea berth.
It's in now.
Yep. That looks awful now. Screwed up all my doors. All right, so that's the progress so far. I just need to put in the piston here, a piston here, and a piston maybe on this side, maybe piston and piston, I don't know, something like that.
I think it turned out amazing, babe. It's amazing how it matches the interior of the wood so well. I love the pistons. I think it'll be a really nice touch when we're sailing. They won't slam around.
The gaps between them are kind of junky, but this is no Blacktail Studio work. Shout out to Blacktail Studio. Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job on the color and on the construction. Like, it works. This is gonna drive me bonkers. I gotta figure out how to do something about that. It wasn't that bad when I put it in, but I guess we twisted it somehow. All the pieces of wood are held together with metal brackets, and so there's flex on those a little bit. Not a lot, but enough that it probably moved it just a bit. All right, I've got some drawer pulls that I'm gonna put on my cabinets. You can see that, but they're kind of like a bronzy color. We're gonna put these on, and then we're gonna reorganize the boat because the boat is a disaster right now, and it is like, it makes me feel anxiety when the boat is this cluttery. Yeah, so we're gonna work on that today. Not bad. I am pretty stoked on how these came out. A little crooked. Definitely my lids aren't square. This is as good as it gets with me, I think. Okay, so this is giving me so much anxiety. It looks like there's a meth head who lives here. And this is pristine and new and needs to be organized. So I'm gonna get to doing that, but I'm not gonna make you watch my Saturday afternoon tidy up. All you have to do is wait this long. At least we're making a little progress here back in the salon again, and I feel like I can enjoy this a little bit. Oh, that looks so nice. So organized. Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
So there you have it. Cabinets built by a DIY carpenter doing a DIY sailboat refit and just kind of figuring out things as he goes along. I'm really excited with how these turned out. I'm really proud of them. They fit the aesthetic of the boat. They look good. They're super functional. They've been in now for, I guess, a couple of months, and they're holding up great. So thanks for watching, and we hope you'll come back again in a couple of weeks. You're gonna see Jillian do an amazing cleaning job to the deck of the boat. You're gonna see Lee Hawk get the fancy hand-painted lettering treatment. Super excited about that. And of course, we have a bunch more projects that we're tackling along the way too. So we hope to see you again in 2 weeks.